Have you ever opened a website with a lot of text and thought, wow? There are two very different reasons you might have that reaction. Text or words can make a website engaging and interesting, but they can also make it look dull and cause users to lose attention. With the help of CSS, you can make the most of text by adding interesting effects. First, I will explain how to use the text overflow property that determines how overflowing content is displayed on your website. The first example sets the text overflow property with the value ellipsis. Let's take note of two CSS properties for the text class, whitespace and text overflow. The whitespace CSS property controls how whitespace inside an element is handled. The whitespace property in this code has a value of no wrap. The text overflow property specifies what to do with the content if it overflows its container. It has several possible values such as hidden to hide the content, or scroll to add a scroll bar. It is important to note that the text overflow property here is set to ellipsis. An ellipsis is three dots that represent the text that is clipped. So if I hover over the overflowing text which is present inside, the hidden text is displayed. As soon as I move the cursor away from the block, the text is again substituted by the ellipsis. This is very similar to the second example, which sets the value of text overflow to clip. In this example, the additional content is truncated to fit within the limits of the box. So if I hover over it with the cursor, the clipped text is displayed. In the third example, I demonstrate how to create vertical text. In the output, the words 12 to 15 items are placed vertically within the otherwise horizontal text. I do this by putting those words inside a separate p tag with class name vert. Then in the CSS code, I set the writing mode property to be vertical RL. The next example demonstrates the word wrap property. Word wrap determines how the words in a paragraph break up and wrap onto the next line. This property has different values such as break word, normal, initial, and a few others. In this example, I use the value break word. As a result, the words illustration and property are both broken up across multiple lines. In the next two examples, I will add text effects using simple CSS code. In this example, I use a property called text shadow, which has a shorthand with four values. The first value is the x-coordinate, which represents the horizontal shadow. The second is the y-coordinate, which represents the vertical shadow. The third is the blur radius, and the fourth is the shadow color. This next example explores an extension of the same idea. My HTML code has two heading tags, each with the class name glow. In the corresponding CSS code, I've added the text shadow effects for that class. I can use the output to determine whether I need to adjust the color effects until I'm happy with it. That's all my examples. In this video, you learned how to add effects to your text using a few simple rules in CSS.